Here are 8 things to know before moving to Durham in 2025. Stick around.
All right, so Durham is obviously a pretty big area, so we like to split it into 4 different sections to help folks kind of understand the different parts of Durham a little better. So you have North Durham, which is a little bit older, a little more rural. You get larger lot sizes on that side of town. You have downtown Durham, which is where we're filming this. A lot of condos, some of the historic neighborhoods are going to be in downtown. You have South Durham, which is a little more suburban feeling. It feels a little more like Raleigh. That's where most of your like big box chain stores are, like a Target or a Walmart. Actually, that's literally the only place that they are in Durham is going to be on that south side. A lot of the larger neighborhoods, like the planned subdivisions, are also on the southern side. And then you have East Durham. So East Durham's where the majority of affordable new construction is in Durham. In fact, if you break it down statistically, 60% of all new construction that's going on in Durham is on the east side. So folks that are looking for especially affordable new construction, it's going to be on that eastern side. So that's kind of the best way, I think, to break down this really large city into, I guess, bite-sized elements.
Yeah, and like Zach mentioned, so one thing you didn't really say about the north side, I think you're also going to find your largest lot sizes over on the north side.
That.
Did you? Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry.
It's so cold that you can't hear or you can't talk.
Yeah. So those larger lot sizes, if you're someone that's like, I want a more private feeling backyard, more trees, that's going to be over there. But there is kind of a lacking commercial side on the south side. So if you're like, I got to be 5 minutes from Target, that's not going to happen for you on the north side. You're still going to have access to grocery stores and things like that, but it's definitely going to be very different feeling than the south side. And that east side where a lot of that new construction's happening, there's not actually a ton of commercial on that side, but you're very, very close to Briar Creek, which sits right on the corner of the Durham and Raleigh line. And there's tons of shopping and commercial space there. But when you're like next to a lot of these new neighborhoods, you're not really going to feel like you have like super close access to like new commercial space. Most of the up and coming stuff in East Durham has all been residential. So we'll see if that changes anytime soon, but that is something to keep in mind. So the next thing you need to know about Durham is its affordability factor. Durham is going to be your most affordable area in the main 3 cities of the Triangle, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. Durham's median home price right now is about $425,000. So that's coming in a lot less than especially Chapel Hill, which touches Durham at $650,000 and Raleigh is around $450,000. And this is for all types of housing, including townhomes and condos. That's something to keep in mind. Those single family prices are going to come up a little higher on the median, but Durham definitely gives you a lot more affordability than some of the other areas in the region.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, up next is entertainment. So for the size of Durham, there's actually quite a bit to do in the area. So you've got things like the Durham Bulls Athletic Field, which is just behind us. You've got places like the Durham Performing Arts Center, which is a really cool location that brings in Broadway shows and other small shows. Like we got young kids. We went to see Blippi last year and Bluey. Yeah, so like
we actually went on the wrong day. We got in. We were like, "Why aren't our tickets working?" They're like, "You're here on the wrong day." But they let us in, which was
they
so
did.
nice.
It was very nice. But so you have places like that. You have like the Eno River State Park. You've got places like Duke Gardens. You've got Duke. It's so hard to talk in the cold. Duke Sports. Like there's just, for an area this size, there's actually, I think, a decent amount to do in the area as far as entertainment goes.
Yeah, for sure. There just feels like a lot of culture and things going on in Durham, and it is just a really fun place to be downtown.
Yeah.
So the next thing to know about Durham is the food scene. There's such a great food scene in Durham. If you ask people that are local to the area where are like the coolest, hippest spots to eat, most of them are going to probably say downtown Durham, and that's very true. You've got some really cool spots here, like Octoon just opened up. That place is really cool. It's like a Mexican tiki theme. I don't know. It's very interesting. That's what they claim on their website, tiki theme. There's Mezcalito is a really fun Mexican restaurant downtown. You've got Tobacco Road Sports Cafe, which is kind of behind us, that overlooks the ball field. You've got Press Coffee and Crepes right here, which is like one of the best spots.
And not just downtown Durham, but like other parts of Durham too. Like you've got places like Google Hop or Foster's Market or Namu, like just really unique restaurants that just make Durham kind of that foodie type city.
Yes, and if you like learning about food, you should definitely follow our Instagram account, the RDU Buzz. We do lots of restaurant reviews on there, so definitely look over there and you'll find a lot of these spots that we're talking about.
Absolutely.
By the way, if this video is rocking your world, be sure to leave a comment below, like, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our content in the next few weeks.
All right, up next, and this is specific to South Durham, but if you are a dual commuter family, so like one spouse works in Durham, one in Raleigh, or maybe one in Durham, one in Chapel Hill, South Durham is a great location for that. You've got great highway access with Interstate 40, and you're able to get to Raleigh quickly or Chapel Hill quickly. And so South Durham just makes a very affordable location for those families that have spouses that work in different locations.
Yeah, for sure. And if you have maybe one that works in Raleigh or someone that works like in the Triad, like the Burlington, Greensboro area, Durham still kind of puts you in the middle, which is really, really convenient.
Yeah.
So the next thing you need to know about Durham is the school situation. Schools are kind of challenging across the triangle as far as like having a lot of different choices that aren't necessarily common in other areas like magnet schools and charter schools. And in Durham, we have a very high concentration and percentage of charter schools in this area. So if you are moving here with kids, it's just something to mentally prepare yourself that you're going to be a little confused when it comes to getting your kids enrolled in school. What's going to be the best option? You know, do you do this lottery year-round thing? Do you do a charter school? You know, so you just have to come prepared to educate yourself and stress yourself out a little bit. That's what we're kind of dealing with right now when it comes to the year entering into your kid's first year of school.
But we do have a resource that can help out with that, so feel free to reach out and we'll provide that. And just in general, I mean, I do think the Durham school system is a little less complex than the Wake County school system because Wake County struggles with things like cap schools, and you don't necessarily have that in Durham. So it is a little less complicated, but it still is a lot. So if you want the resource for the school consultant, we're happy to provide that. Make sure to reach out to us. All right, up next on the list is the park scene in Durham. So in a lot of our videos, we talk about the different parks around the area, like in the Cary or Wake Forest or Raleigh, and those really excel. Durham has kind of struggled with the park scene, but I think they're making strides to improve that. So a lot of the parks that our kids will go to had really old equipment a couple years ago. Some of that equipment's been replaced and improved. You have a bond that passed in Durham to invest a lot of money into some new parks, and they're really improving some current parks. One's going to be a new aquatic center that really looks incredible. Like the concept art for it looks amazing. Have like a lazy river, zero entry pools. Like it looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that one.
Yeah, so I mean, those are just things like Durham has needed to do for a really long time to improve the park scene to kind of compete with some of the other areas, and they're doing that. And so that's a good thing. Yeah,
so it's good to know things are up and coming, but you know, if you have kids today, those things are not going to be completed for probably quite some time, you know, so, and you'll probably still find yourself maybe driving to some of the cooler playgrounds in Wake County, but you know, in general, there is still things to do here for kids in Durham, especially like the Museum of Life and Science. It's one of the best places to take the kids because it's super fun there. So there are things to do here, but I think in general, the playground scene, it's improving and needs to continue improving for quite some time.
All right, up next, and this one is specific to North Durham, and it is, we saved the best one for last, and that is septic tanks. The best for last. So septic tanks. So a lot of folks have very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Strong opinions about septic tanks. And if you want to avoid a septic tank, North Durham is probably not the best option. The reason is about 30% of what sold last year was a septic tank in North Durham. And that kind of goes along the lines of kind of how we started this video, talking about the different parts of Durham. North Durham's older, it's more space. With that, you typically get septic tanks and wells. And so it just, at the end of the day, kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, and a lot of that area too, back in the day when a lot of those homes were built, it was not part of the city limits. There were no city resources. So some of it maybe has been annexed into the city, but maybe still isn't connected to city utilities, or some of it's still out in the county limits and there's not going to be access to city utilities out there. So that's just something to keep in mind. If a well or septic is not something you want, North Durham may not be for you. In some parts of North Durham.
Yeah, absolutely. We're Zach and Cindy Honeycutt. We are a couple of real estate agents in the area. So if you are looking to buy or sell, we'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can find our contact info below, and you can also reach out to us on Instagram.
Yep, we'd love to have you follow along on Instagram. You can find our page at the Honeycutt Realtors or the RDU Buzz for all those restaurant reviews that we were talking about earlier. And we will see you next week.
See you next time.